So, um, good. Let's jump directly into this. I have a mammal this time.
Wow.
Oh, very easy. What is it?
I'm not gonna say it.
A
It's
beaver?
pooping.
Huh? No, I'm not sure about that.
It looks like
Kate, you want to have a guess? There's actually an interesting fact that relates to where you live.
Uh, is this a beaver?
It's a beaver.
Yeah.
It is a
Mhm.
beaver. Yeah.
We
So,
have a lot around where I live.
hmm, yeah.
Mhm.
We
I
we
have a program called dbeaver for managing the database.
right?
Pretty joke.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, we have here an increasing issue with beavers. So I could have also taken pictures of the trees that have the issues with this animal. Um, but then I thought, actually, let's put this one here. And I read up. It's quite interesting because we all know the beaver, but we don't spend the time to really read up on their behavior so much. So I can share a little bit afterwards. The
Mhm.
interesting thing is also the Latin name is also the same name that you use in Spanish, no? Castor.
Castor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting how words get a different connotation because Castor in German is a word that I think almost everybody knows from radioactive waste transportation. They are also called castor transportations. So if they have radioactive waste, they put them into castor transporters, and that's probably what a lot of people would associate with around here. Anyway, what's new? Um, what's new? Let's go to the next slide. Lucas is going to show us the translation tool, faster search for users, edit booking, review, and actually we're going to look into the peer-to-peer chat in the live version of the art. Then I wanted to show you the National Urban Park, the English version of the website, and how we can integrate social places along our routes as a POI. That's it. I think, Lucas, I hand over to you.
All right. So I'm sharing the screen. Did it work? No. All right. You can see it now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So first of all, the translation tool. So up till now, we've got quite a few languages in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 languages already, which is, I'm quite proud of it. And especially thinking that we've done all of this with our in-house built translation tool, which was quite difficult to use. And it became so difficult that basically it was really a pain to integrate any new translations. So we decided to uh, migrate our translation system into a well-known open source solution called Weblate. It's actually also done by a Czech person, homegrown. And so how does it look like? Um, it's going to be linked from our homepage. Right now, it's not there yet, but we can already start uh, translating. So if you get in there, this is what it looks like. So of course, these banners are not going to be there. I'm going to explain to you in a little bit why they are there and why we are still locked right now. Um, so if you have in the past worked on translating a software project, the interfaces are quite similar. So you can see all the languages that are available to be translated, together with a progress bar of how much is already done. So now we can very clearly see that German and Georgian have the most translated strings, words in the arc, followed by Russian, Dutch, Chinese. Yeah. And then as a translator, it's quite straightforward. Let's go into German. I'm clicking on that, and you can see some overviews, and you can start translating just by clicking the translate button, and it's bringing you to the first thing that needs a translation. I'm gonna go through here, basically unfinished strings, unfinished translations, and I'm gonna, the first one is the copyright, which we actually only use to display some mandatory information in China. So I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna go to the very last one, which is chat. Just what we added recently. You can see that there will be some suggestions. You can see how it is translated in other languages, and you can see some description that the developers have added to this string. Here it says that it's used in the menu, and yeah, it's as easy as writing. I don't know. I guess it's also chat in German.
Yes, indeed it is.
Chatten. Yeah, but I cannot translate it right now, and that's because we have found a bug in the translation software while working on this, and we've been communicating with the authors, and the fix is going to be released today, which is quite awesome. Let me just show you the yeah. So we had some problem with how our translation keys are formatted and how the application stores it in the end. And the author has replied, it is addressed in a fix that he has made, not yet released. And 24 minutes ago, he started to deploy the fix. So very soon, I'm going to unlock our translation space, and we can get going and start translating. Yep. I'm quite excited about this one because one of the things we are aiming for is to increase the amount of people who contribute to the project, and the translations are very important for people all around the world to use the platform. So I'm very happy that it's becoming easier. You might wonder how it works. So basically, when we make some new changes in the arc, the changes are automatically pushed here into WebLate. And when they are translated, every now and then, every few hours, I'm not sure how many hours this is, it basically pushes the changes back into the arc, and you can see it in the repository. So I'm going to open the merge requests, which is inside of our open GitHub repository, sorry, GitLab. And you can see that it automatically opens a new merge request. And basically, when this happens, the developers, mostly Sonia and me, need to go and check out the changes, review what has been done. This is now not correct because, of course, it's still coming in the wrong format. And then it is merged and deployed with the next release of the arc. Where to find this, if you are watching the video, the best would be if you go on the arc landing page. So arc green steps me, and scroll all the way to the bottom where we have a translator in here. This link will be linking to the Weblate interface. I had some issue editing this just a few minutes ago, but I'm sure then when you are watching this video, it's going to already be online. All right. So what do we have next? Knut, can you give me a hint?
I'll try. Faster search for users, maybe as introduction. It took quite a while to add users. So if you were creating an event in a class, you basically had to wait a bit until the users that you were looking for could be really found.
Yeah, exactly. So we have created a new version of the component which searches for users. So on the first look, it looks the same. You can recognize that it's the new one, that it doesn't have the drop-down handle in here. It only has the clear handle. So not anymore you can select without typing. You always have to type. And basically you are only loading the entries which are matching your search string. So it's much faster. The previous version was loading all users, which was of course fine when there were not so many to load, but became kind of unbearable, especially on slow devices. Yeah, so this dropdown is not yet in the whole app. As I said, you can recognize it from not having the dropdown thing. And within the next few days, I hope to replace all the user drop-downs, user search boxes with the new version. Yeah, that's it about this one.
The next one would be edit booking.
Edit booking, it's a feature that we have developed last September, but there were some issues with it, so we haven't pushed it to production until recently. So in your profile, in your upcoming activities, only with the bookings, not with the ones that you are facilitating, there are the 3 dots where you can manage the booking. And in case that it is unpaid booking, and very soon also a free booking is something that we will add. You can edit it. It was something that people were asking for a lot. In the past, especially with online payments that we had in China, it was not really easy to let people edit their bookings because basically we counted on them being immediately paid at the booking time. And then if you want to let people edit stuff, then of course you need to calculate the difference in the payment or even give them a refund. And that's not straightforward. So we've never done it. But now here in Europe, we mostly deal with like bank transfers and cash on arrival events. So we decided to make this possible. So this is a simple booking that I have. Maybe I would like to add another person. So I'm going to search here for Sonia. And yeah, maybe also for Knut. I don't know. That's the ticket. And I can also edit the answers to my questions, to the questions that I was asked. So instead of my homing pigeon, you can contact me by calling very loudly into the forest. And then in the next step, you get a nice overview, grouped by ticket type, your total unpaid, recap of what you answered, and as you confirm, you can immediately see that you've got 3 tickets in here. And yeah, quite straightforward, I hope. We have a big event upcoming that will be hosted on the Arc, the transition network in Germany. So yeah, hope that this will reduce the amount of questions on how to edit a booking.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, even though most events are now free of charge, but even then, I think it would be fine if people just can cancel or edit their booking. Next one would be to actually, review the peer-to-peer chat. How about you send a message to Katie on the Arc?
Sure. Right now, I need to find the person that I need to chat to, either in an activity or in a community. So
That's interesting. That was what I observed today.
hmm,
That we need to have a search field somewhere now for the people that you want to text to.
yeah, exactly. So where can I find I don't know. I'm just gonna go into the call.
Yeah. Katie, did you sign up for the call?
Yeah, I did. It's going to be under Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but actually for activities you don't see who is joining, right?
Yeah, I had the same issue. I tried exactly this thing here. This?
When signing up for the call, I could only see the facilitators.
Right. Yeah. So far, it's not like a public info who is joining which activity. Yeah, we are reconsidering that to make it a little bit more social. But yeah, so I guess that's Catherine.
That's so funny.
Simple message button and chat interface. We didn't reinvent the wheel here. We used a chat provider called Stream, who have quite a generous offer for small organizations. So we were able to basically reuse all the components that they have prepared. Yeah, there is not really too much to say about this. You can send images.
You could show, or you could tell Katie where she finds the message. Where does she find the message?
Yeah. So
I actually just found it. Thank you.
it's under the profile picture, and there is a chat option. Yeah.
Right.
So far, there is this yellow dot when you have a new message, and here you can see how many new messages you've got. And we're gonna implement basically what's the word for that? A digest, like a weekly digest, bringing you back to the platform in case you didn't check. And eventually, this will be possible to set up how often you would like to have the digest. Some people like it less often and also don't like to clean up their mailboxes. As for me, I for a while had a phone where notifications did not work, and one of the most annoying things I found myself doing was just opening everything to see if there is something new or not, because there were no notifications. So we will make it possible to set this up so that everyone makes a choice, and the default will definitely be very not noisy and non-intrusive.
So I've actually a question here to the team who is watching today. Do you prefer red or do you prefer yellow? Because originally it was red. And
I
then
like yellow.
I asked
I think on the Arc everything is blue or yellow pretty much, no?
Yeah, so red is like a red alert, no? I mean, I think yellow is a sort of softer. So we would go for yellow. All right. Yeah, and I think also everybody agrees. I mean, I get right now with people not being very active on the Arc, it doesn't really matter, but if you get a notification email for every booking and every change and every post, it is really a lot. And so that would be then in a summary email, like Lucas said, once a week. I think it's more mindful for users. Good. The next thing would be actually me showing. Question: did you do also the default location?
I merged some changes. I'm not sure about it.
Then we don't talk about this now. Then you can let me share. So I need to go here into desktop 1, share, and what I'm going to share with you is the National Urban Park. And so we have looked into this project also the last time, and we have now complete English translation here. It's nothing big. Of course, I would have loved to use the web-late translation tool for this, but it's not that much text. The point is that we have it because I'm gonna have a meeting with the tourism director already lined up. So I'm gonna show him this project, and yeah, having a simple English and German version, I think makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is it in regard to the National Urban Park version. And the next thing would be integrating social places as points of interest. For this, I actually go to the ARC, and let me open the ARC again. So last week we walked a quest that starts right outdoors of our office, and it's Glanzstoff through an old factory. And there has been a lot of change lately. There's, as always, a lot of trash. And they have opened in the factory a boulder bar. As I understand, it is a bit of an American concept. They have high-end equipment inside, so you do indoor climbing. And it is quite well, a trendy place in town. People like to hang out there. So I thought, why not adding it also as a stop, as a social stop where people can meet to the route? And that's what I did. So I'm going to show you how this works. I've met the general manager of this place. They have, I think, 9 bars all over Austria. And it's really nice. So I first go into some Pölten Commons, and I show you now how to add such a social POI. So I go here into the quests, and the quest that I'm looking for is this one. Yeah, it's called Glanzstoff. And I added a stop number 8. And you see here the stop overview, and I added here boulder bar, right? See this? And we look now into the questions, which I discussed with the general manager of that place. So I thought, let's not make it commercial, but let's make it really something that people need to observe physically. And so we added these questions. Wait for a second. I think I need to switch the language here, right? So boulder bar, here we are. And here you can see, if you here press the pen, what are the questions? Interesting. So this should be actually English now, because I had it English there when I saved it. So the first question that he gave me was, which equipment do you need to boulder? And you see here 3 answers, multiple choice, a harness, a hat, and climbing shoes. So only one is correct here. I'm a bit irritated now why this has not been saved the way I wanted it. This one is English. Okay. So how many boulder bars are there in Austria? 9, 15, 7. And next question, what colors do our climbing holes have? So for this, you really need to check out the place inside. And again, he gave me 3 answers, and that's how a place can be integrated into the route. I mean, it's of course up to people if they really want to do it. I stop sharing. Gloria added earlier, I recently opened cafe to a different route, which is also in a historical building. And so you can basically integrate culture, history of a city with the route exploring in nature. And I think this is quite a nice approach where we really move more into bioregional learning that includes both nature and culture. Of course, it's a thin red line to not kind of commercialize it too much, and people say, I don't know, how many brands of beer do we offer on tap? Something like this. Good. But I think it is good that some local places can also sponsor a stop, and people also know along the route where they can make a stop. This place is really nice, I have to say. That was it, I think, in terms of what is new for this release. Any feedback?
No, I don't know. I mean, I have just one, one question about the translation tool, actually.
Mhm.
Is it only working for the translation, for the ARC translation, or also when to, like, the translation for content? But some, I don't know why. Sorry, my voice. Okay, it's back to normal. Okay. When I create content, for example, in English, okay, like I describe a species and then I want to translate it in German, right? That's still like it was before. We don't need to use the tool for that. No, okay. So it's only a tool to translate the ARC itself, like
Yeah,
the website itself. Okay, right.
it's a tool to translate the application interface.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. So indeed, it would be great to also have improvement on managing the translations of the content.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite counterintuitive, not counterintuitive, but basically you cannot know about it unless someone tells you. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
how it
thought you were
works,
working also on that at some point, but probably not now. Okay.
yeah. Basically, if you want to translate the content into a different language, you need to first create it in the language that is primary,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, switch the whole ARC interface, like Knut did earlier, into the language that you want to translate in, and then this content is saved under that language. Yeah. So it works okay, I would say, but definitely not intuitive. And as for why it didn't save for you, that question, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just forgotten.
Yeah, maybe sometime if you click on done, but you don't click on confirm, it will not save it.
Right. Yeah.
So you might
We
have
wanted to
done that for one
implement that
question.
if you have some changes in the form, but you haven't saved yet, which is actually on purpose because there is no versioning. We don't have any versioning, so we don't want to let you save too fast. So you're trying things out, and
Mm.
then there is no way back, right? So basically in these, like if you are editing something and then you have another pop-up window where you are, for example, editing the questions, and then you click confirm, then you still need to click save in the main form, right, in the whole quest. And right now, if you have some changes and you, for example, close the tab or close the browser, it's just going to close immediately, no warning given. There is a possibility to trigger a warning when we detect that you made some changes. You can maybe remember it from some other websites, which basically you try to close them and there is a pop-up saying, are you sure you want to close? You have some unsafe changes. So I would like to do that to address this problem.
Yeah, I mean, I was aware that it's only for the web app and not for the content, but I have to say it would be great if we can extend this at a point, because it makes sense in quite a lot of applications.
Like for any kind of static content, it's okay. Yeah. But this is a tool for translating software or like translating books, for example. Yeah.
Okay.
It supports a lot of formats. So we had to change our format just slightly, actually. Yeah, but I don't know what kind of other applications you have in mind. Definitely, it cannot be used for any user-generated content.
Well, what about the questions that we have for trees? Are they also included? Is this static? Yes, right?
The pre-made, yeah, the pre-made ones.
Those are actually there. This is already good, no? Because it kickstarts communities with the questions. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, if those standard questions are already there, can a person also edit the English, for example?
I enable that. Yes, I
Yeah,
enable
okay.
the ability to edit the English version.
But then you have to review it, right? Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Basically, all the changes are grouped into a bigger time slot so that so many like requests to merge, and I have to review that and merge and deploy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I first look a bit into German, and probably we should then contact our translation team and ask them to maybe review.
I also wait. I remember we had Arabic at some point.
True. Yeah.
It's not there anymore. I was reading all about it.
I had a problem with the right to left layout. I had to kick it out there.
Oh no. Okay, it's the only. Okay. Okay.
No, it's not there.
Wow, I read yesterday that Berlin has advanced to be the Arabic culture center of Europe because there have been so many Arabs moving there from Syria. All right, I'm not going to comment on this. There is one more thing that was also somehow in our mind. We did not have a clear definition of what the arc is, and I had a long call with Hans. And the result is this, which is now basically under the three main KPIs. You can read it, send feedback on it. We also increased here those guiding quotes in size so that they're better readable. Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear cut now what the arc is. But if you think that the wording is still not good enough, then let us know. This said, I would go and we talk about the beaver.
Yes.
All right. So then let's try this again. Which screen do you see now?
Arc green steps.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Ah, okay. So I need to reshare. Probably need to reshare. Good. Let's try this again. Share. So we want to have one. And how's it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, of course, it was the beaver. But the interesting thing here is what I at least did not know. There are only two species. One is the Canadian beaver and one is the Eurasian beaver. And the Eurasian beaver was almost hunted to extinction, but the Canadian beaver actually, despite being hunted, fared quite well. And they are quite different. The Canadian beaver is about a third larger, maximum weight 45 kilos, while the European or Eurasian is a max of 30 kilos, average 18. And what I was not aware is I mean, basically they are rats. No, people always say, "Oh, nice beaver," but it's a rat. No, it's a rodent, and it's the second largest living rodent after the capybaras, which I don't know why kids are nowadays so um, interested in. Yeah, so Wikipedia said that there were only 1,200 left in Eurasia. I don't know how you can count this, but they must have really been hunted to extinction. And now there are more than 1.5 million, two-thirds of them in Russia. But I mean, they really appear everywhere. And in St. Pölten, those 4+ years that I'm here, it's really obvious that they, well, like rodents, increase in population fast and therefore have a huge impact on our local flora. So I've actually filed another nature monument yesterday. I've applied for another nature monument yesterday because, yeah, trees are not being fenced here. That's the main reason. Well, question now to you. Do you know anything special about the beaver? I had from my past kind of sessions on beaver only one very important thing, but do you know anything special?
Mm.
I know that they communicate with their tails, like they smack their tails on certain objects to create sounds to please the other people and or the other beavers in their pods.
That's already pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. So they communicate with the tail.
Mhm.
They communicate with other beavers.
Yeah, it's a cool sound. Yeah.
I know that they are a sort of keystone species because they can modify the territory by beating down the trees and so, but they create habitat for other animals as well.
Yeah, I actually read in where is it? Somewhere in Canada, the largest beaver nest. I don't know how you call it actually in English. Is 850 meters long. It was built over several generations of beavers. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, they have a lifespan of up to 20 years, so several generations of beavers. Interesting. What I found super interesting is the hair density. So a human has 6 hairs per square millimeter. Guess how many hairs they have?
60.
I mean, I have like 0 here, but I mean, 6 is already a lot per square millimeter. Huh? 60? Lucas says 60. Any other guess? Well, I mean, otherwise I just tell you. 230. I mean, just think about this per millimeter. So this is really it's not just a fur. This is well, a bulletproof, maybe a bulletproof jacket, but it really protects them from water and cold. And then on top of that, this is also why they were hunted. They have this oil that kind of glues it on top. So it's like a swimming suit plus ultra gear. Really interesting what nature has produced there. And because they are so well protected, this animal actually does not hibernate, which I think is also interesting for such a big size, warm-blooded animal living, I don't know, in the far north of Canada or Finland. Yeah. And they have those fierce teeth, which contain high amounts of iron so that they can log trees. And I mean, I found it interesting that they can log up to 50 centimeter large trees in a single night. I mean, you also need to think about the muscles that they have in their jaws, no? It's impressive. Well, they are herbivores, which other rodents usually are also not. They're more on the eating everything side. And what I also found very interesting is they are monogamous, which I mean for rodents I think is very, very rare. So they stay together for several breeding seasons. And yeah, they
Don't they create colonies? Something like we're living in a group where there is a alpha couple more or less, and the others are like helpers.
I can only tell you what I read here, and I found that very interesting. Can be
I mean, I don't know about beavers, but I would say, I mean, marmots had that behavior, and maybe they have something, it might be common in that sense. I mean, marmots are somehow monogamous, but for one season or more season. It depends. It depends if a male come and kill the other male, then of course we need to change it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So here it says for several breeding seasons.
Yeah, several, but I think marmots tend to be, but based on how bad they fight with each other, they may change. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I added the beaver here because it is a rodent. It breeds quite a bit, and so in especially urban habitats, it is now also a problem to maintain urban flora, especially trees that might need, I don't know, 100 years to grow. The trees that we have applied for protection, they are probably 100 plus year old salix. And I mean, if they are done, they're done. You cannot kind of replace them quickly. So in most places they have fenced trees, but they don't do this yet in St. Pölten. So we thought it's a good approach to actually protect these trees. The beaver is protected still completely in Germany and in Austria. In Switzerland, they have already started to hunt them. So maybe this will also change here.
Or if I need a hair transplant, I should get one from beaver.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's also the nickname of Musk, Elon Musk. They also call him Elon Beaver. He had a transplant. I don't know. All right. Good. Next call is on the 19th February. At least it's scheduled for that day. We'll see if this is really going to happen. We'll be in touch. That was it for today.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I don't know why.
All right.
Thank you, Katie, for participating, and thank you, Lucas and Knut, for preparing.
Of course, it's so great to see you guys again. I'll see you in February.
Cool. See ya. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.